Hamilton Nolan, the labor reporter, now writing at a Substack, How Things Work. He's got a great essay, I guess, entitled Land of Greater Fools. He writes that a bedrock of investing is a greater fool theory, which essentially says that even if you paid a foolish price for something, it can still work out as long as you find a greater fool to sell it to. And what he's talking about is this idea that there are politicians, there are commentators, there are union leaders, there are governors who think that they can, they can sort of trick or flatter Donald Trump or get on his good side so that they provide for their one issue that they're trying to get ahead on. And he says this is a mistake. He writes, the problem with this impulse is that inherent in the hope of working with this guy is the accompanying understanding that you must not try as hard as you can to smash the guy at the same time. You can't say Donald Trump is a loathsome fascist and then say in the next breath, we look forward to crafting a worker-friendly trade policy with you, sir. Yet, hey, guess who the people who are who collectively all nurturing all of these disparate hopes of winning on their pet issues? Mm-hmm. They are the opposition. We are entering an age of gangster-style fascism. We're going to need all the opposition we can get.
All my friends are dead and they don't like me anymore. They've moved along, they've changed, and now they find me quite a bore. Way back then it was okay to be a little weird, but all my friends are dead.
Hey, you guys, hold on, no kidding. Watch your face. Watch your face. Watch your face. Watch your face. Here's a big one, watch out. Watch your face. Here comes the hill, hold on. Here we go. Hold on, hold on. Ah! We're not gonna make it.
Down. Good girl.
I like my trees ugly, but they want me to make my trees perfect. And he said, I love your trees. They're ugly, but they're beautiful. What that means is that both he and I are not conforming to the tradition, but rather we're trying to make artistic to be different. To some people, it may be ugly, but other people who can see the merit, then they like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Punk Bonsai. I am internet personality Malcontent, and I am officially putting both feet forward into saying I'm just a bonsai artist. I love it. I knew I was going to love it. I warned everyone in my life. The second I had the opportunity to start making these tiny trees, I was going to have a hard time stopping. And I have produced something like 14 or 15, 16 or 18. Wait, what's my head count? I've run out of names. My initial run of names I've already run out of. Yeah, let's, what are we doing here? Initially, I did an episode about beginning in bonsai, and I definitely said bonsai a lot. I've been working with a dialectic coach to say bonsai right. I've been saying bonsai this whole time. I know I have, because I've been editing out any time that I didn't. No, I'm just joking. No, I fixed it. I've been saying it better. I find that working with these tiny trees has, I don't know what this, what is that noise? Do you guys hear that noise? It sounds like a bass guitar. Is that a bass guitar? Is that a... Oh, right. So, right, the point of these videos are going to be, they're part bonsai, and they're part, they're part distracting, is what they are. No, listen. Okay, wait. 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 Punk Bonsai is me expressing how I create my tiny trees in elegant pots, right? I say right a lot. There's a lot has happened since I've been very, very regularly posting videos. Something really lined up for me in this video. I have a lot to tell you guys about. Hopefully it won't be too rambly. Hopefully it'll be very distracting. Hi. You might be wondering why tiny little Muppet hands aren't magically manipulating scissors and creating tiny trees. I am, in fact, creating these tiny trees. Those are my meaty, fleshy, non-felt hands. Well, they're my meaty hands when I had meaty hands. I have perfect memory of this, you know. I have perfect memory of what's happening right now, recording this voiceover. This is the initial trim of the tree. I learned a lot in this particular bit of video making to double check on the static camera to make sure half of it isn't idly focusing and then focusing, or blurring rather, on the background and not really showing what's happening. Luckily, super producer Perps was here to lend a hand in the moving camera, and she did an incredible job. In the future, these videos will be more
More like this, but the static camera will make more sense. I won't be starting anymore on camera for a while. We did these in February and January, and we're going to let them grow for a while, and I think some early fall will be the next time I buy more starters. We'll be checking on these guys, though, in 3 months to see what their growth is and do some trimming. Some of these will be wired for the first time. I got a lot that are just ready to be wired. I'm not sure if they're going to live or not. I may replace dead trees, of course, but yeah. What I'm doing here is cutting off any branches that seem like they wouldn't be a part of a tree. Bushes grow, you know, greenery, ferns, you know, leaves and things all along their branches, and that's just not how trees behave. My philosophy in making bonsai is we're just putting tiny trees into these pots. Now, I don't say elegant pots for punk bonsai, because our idea is to do very weird ideas with the pots, starting with pedestrian weird ideas and getting weirder from there. I'll show you some pictures later of what I mean. Bonsai, of course, is the marriage of a tiny tree in a pot. I'm working with a juniper here. Junipers are easily my favorite to work with because they have a twisting, creeping habit, as Peter Chan would say. I don't really pick specific junipers other than ones that have soft spikes. No, I try to avoid very, you know, pokey ones so that's easier to work with. That said, all it takes is a little bit of effort and you can get rid of the spikes or wear gloves. Some of those spiky trees are really beautiful. But you can see as I trim and get closer to it, it looks more and more like a branch. And I've done a lot since that, since here on this one, and I've peeled a little bit of these off, and yeah, again, the point here is to make a tiny tree. Junipers already look so close to a tiny tree. This one here has particularly beautiful roots. There's a music change there. I hope no one noticed that. I hope me putting emphasis on it doesn't make people notice it more. Here I am, still trimming, obviously. This long branch here, my intention, and I did do this, was to bend it quite a bit. It starts at a nice bend at the base of the trunk, and I just kind of go through it further. You can see I got the static camera figured out for this shot. This is my bonsai area in the yard. We're talking about expanding it so it'll look a little bit different, and in the future there'll probably be background cows or dogs and things. Even doing this for camera, I felt some sort of peace. I don't know how to explain it. When I'm in this and I've got this very specific goal, it just feels really fun, natural, you know, to just keep going. Anyway, this is the trim. The wiring I'll show later, but I got a lot to say about wiring. I shot myself in the foot so many times.
Well,
because presumably your strategy isn't isolated to me, is it, dumbass?
Yes, I've had a reason to.
You think that performative chuckle is going to help you here, dumbass?
I really promise you, nothing I do is performative here.
So, before we talk about the, what's that noise again? Oh, right. I'm pretending not to know that the incredibly hot girl that plays bass is about to. Yeah. Okay, this is a good bit. This is a great bit. But I think we're done after this one.
2910 East Genesee Street, where niggas mix weed with they nicotine treats.
Go check her out on YouTube. She's amazing. I started watching videos about bonsai in 2021, so you'd think I'd be saying it properly by now. Or I'm done harping on that on myself. I really did a number on my first few trees. I thought because, and I'm not really blaming Peter Chan for this, but he made it seem pretty blasé on what kind of wire you could use to do your trees. And I did start with essentially horrible wiring. Even when I thought I was doing better, I still managed to pick the absolute worst kind of wiring. So I want to give some like advice to anyone who might be thinking about doing this as a hobby. Please go out of your way, spend a little extra money and get bonsai wiring. It's just worth it, honestly. I got it recently for after using the correct kind of wiring, in that it was aluminum or copper, but I was using basically hanging wire or things that you would use for paintings. And I might end up finding out that I have to even scrap the wiring that's on those, but I think I'm okay. I think it's the mistake I made in the beginning is I used steel. Don't use steel. It's too strong. It doesn't flex with the tree, and basically the tree will die around it, or any rate, I lost from the first video one of the 2 trees I worked on, and one of the other trees that survived, named Henry, named after no one. Henry is missing an arm. So unfortunately, I learned the hard way with some material, but it was my first 2, so I sort of expected that I would have done something wrong. And it turns out the most wrong thing you can do is skimping on some of these things. So this is one of my recommendation. You can buy very inexpensive or find very inexpensive bonsai material, okay? That's just the tree itself. You can get very expensive starters from reputable bonsai creators, and that's perfectly fine too. But if you're trying to do this hobby and you want to do it as affordably as possible, what I recommend is buying a few junipers. They range, the price range for the junipers start around $10. I get mine around 8 to 10 for the very small pots, and they range up to 30 or 40 for the larger. I will eventually buy some of the larger ones, but I think I'm going to wait until this spring to show you kind of those ideas. Now, the other thing you should spend money on, though, is you should get real bonsai training pots. You can buy them off Amazon for $40. I know. And bonsai wire, the first recommendation I got on Amazon, I bought, and I'm very happy with it. Just splurge and buy the pack that has a bunch of different samples in it. Buy some very inexpensive junipers, and buy those starter pots, and just start using Peter Chan as your starter, like to see what he does for the beginnings, and make them like that. I think that's my honest recommendation for anyone starting this hobby. If I were to start over from the beginning, I would do all of those things to save my first run of trees. If any of these trees die, I will make a specific video warning people not to do things. Okay. Let's get back to some more videos. I am wiring a tree in this one. Just be aware that the wire I'm using is suboptimal, and that you could very easily, for not very much money, buy a sample pack for about $18 off Amazon of bonsai wire that you can use, and just go out of the way and get a training pot. Okay. Yeah. The wiring part. Yeah, we're right into it.
So oftentimes in a forest, they don't get enough light, and a branch grew for a while, and then the forest gets dense, and then they die off and they become jin. So creating some jin in a forest, it's always attractive. Look at witness John Naka's family forest is full of jin, including at the very top. And his story is like in a forest, tall trees, gets hit by lightning. You know, there's the old Chinese saying, I think the big tree catches the wind on the top of a mountain, which means that they are more likely to get purged in political situation and so forth. They, in a sense, they're more visible. You know, a tree looks brown, but if you remove all the brown leaves, and you have a perfectly green tree. So that's life. When you have problems, take care of the problems, and you don't have any problems. Okay? You can really draw an analogy between trees, lives, and projects, everything. They're all not much different. They're all projects. I started Bonsai Heirloom, in fact, to promote social harmony. And so there's a higher purpose in bonsai to teach about life. Like in today's world, I think we're too confrontational. You know, we're always arguing, I'm right, you're wrong. Always arguing. Everywhere you look, it's people arguing. And to me, you know, take the attitude, you're right, I'm right. There's some aspect I might miss, some aspect you might have missed. But if we put it all together, we have a more rounded view of what's the topic on hand and come up with a better solution by adding rather than either or, but it's by add, so that we can extrapolate to something even better. And so I think bonsai teaches about life. Practice bonsai, share with them your bonsai philosophy and practices so more people can enjoy bonsai and join our Bonsai Heirloom community.
During this last bit, I put in clips from Milton Chang, and I had started watching him more recently. Peter Chan, for me, has been a very practical teacher, and Milton has been a much more, dare I say, spiritual teacher on this subject. Punk Bonsai is about taking what I understand to be Chinese bonsai and taking it to a slightly different level, in that I think the pot could also be fairly naturalistic. So my point with punk bonsai is that it can be a tiny tree in an ugly pot. It doesn't have to be an elegant tree in an elegant pot. Chinese bonsai definitely has an interesting philosophy of natural over perfection versus Japanese, which is, you know, the triangle pads, the very specific look. A lot of what I've made in this video, I think, would be sorely rejected by some of the artists in certain schools. I think maybe even Chinese bonsai might not be open enough for my interpretation. I think it might be. I think punk bonsai and I think Chinese bonsai are cousins. We both want to see much more naturalistic projects. So I'm going to end this with a little commentary over some photos and some video of where I'm at now at the end of January, the beginning of February. In this very short period of time, something like a month, I've done a lot of different bonsai experiments using different wire, different pots. I'm displaying them in a different way from the way I've started. So episode 2 of Punk Bonsai will be very different than this, but it'll still include fun clips, and it'll still include me, your host, Melt Content. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. There's just a bit more after the credits, but I'm going to let the credits run here. And, if you want to become a Patreon, your Patreon money goes to stuff like this. Me buying things to make more art. My main philosophy is that this is art, and art should be something that you express with your being. It's communication that means something, and bonsai has unlocked my work in ways that I didn't really expect. Not just video work, but my artistic creative work, my drawings, the way I talk to other people, the way I think about things. I've entered a different phase, and I think, yeah. I'm glad you guys are here with me. Thanks. Okay, so this is this is a holly. Oh man, I cannot remember the actual species type, but this is a holly plant. I bought it for $20 or $15. But I actually ended up getting 2. I have a separate holly in a completely different pot. And this was an incredibly therapeutic tree to work on. I did a lot of wiring, as you can see, but it was really more than I needed to. This tree, I really specifically want this to look like it belongs in a park somewhere. So I wanted it to have sort of a birch look. So it was a lot of me removing tiny trees. Oh, look at that little guy over there. We'll get to him in a second. But yeah, the holly. Now this is a juniper over here. Oh, that's Marvin for some reason. We're showing him off. Or no, Milton. That's Milton. Sorry. Milton was in steel, and as you can see, I've replaced the trunk wire with a copper wire, just to kind of hold it in place for now. I'm not gonna rewire it. I'm gonna leave it as is for now and let things grow in and see what happens. But yeah, this is basically one of the first junipers I've ever worked on. And it's pretty worse for wear after meeting me. We'll see. My workspace is very different. We're going to talk about that when we get to the photos. And at the time, these were kind of the only finished ones that I had, i.e. these are bonsai that are a tree in a pot. Most of them are in trainers over on the other table at this stage. But I really like this really weird pot, and I really love the weird trunk of this particular tree, its roots. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with any of them. I'm just gonna let them go crazy. But oh, this is Henry. Excuse me. Henry's in a completely different pot. We'll talk about him in a second. Oh, I didn't even realize that. But Henry used to have a longer arm. You can see where it's torn off. Yeah, anyway, we'll move on from that. Jeez, this video is great. Yeah, this is the privet that I pull out of my yard. You saw me clip it up earlier. This is the wire job I did to it. I've done some concerning snaps since then, trying to bend this guy in place. I actually think I'm going to add some wire to it and see what I can... Those dogs in the background, boy. But yeah, these are, at the time, these were finished little guys, and I have so many more now since then. And there's going to be another video in the near future discussing where they're all at that stage. Now these are photos. This is my workspace. This is what it looks like when you look up to it. These are some they're not in pots quite yet. These are all in pots. Basically done. This is a particular one that I like quite a bit. This one and this other one in a small pot. These are very small trees and very small pots. And then there's Henry and Marvin now in their final spot.